Hi Robert,
Oh,
how are you?
doing good. Busy, but that's per usual. How are you?
I am fine. Are you going to QuebeCon?
No, I won't, unfortunately. So, are you?
No, I'm a college student.
Okay. You could apply for there's the scholarship so that you can
Yeah,
get
I
sponsored.
checked that. I missed the days for the Dan Cohen
Yeah, you're
scholarship.
right. Oh,
I have
I
created a platform using Port. So I created the UI and using the Port UI, I am creating the S3 bucket and I am deleting it also.
all right.
Yeah, just learning about it.
Yeah, well, that's good. Learning is good. Hey, David.
Hello.
Hi David.
Hello.
We'll give it a couple of minutes.
Yeah, they're I've been finding I host some lean coffees and like people are always like getting out of the last meeting and takes a few
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah,
Mm.
it usually does, and it's I basically just got home and had the time to sit down and work
Yeah.
from the office and so on and so forth.
What time is it where you are?
It's 5.
Oh, okay.
Hey, everybody. Let's see. In case people are not aware, I can just start linking the platform or the notes. You can
Mhm.
write in your attendee thing, or if you want, set something up for the agenda. Doesn't look like we have a lot to discuss, and it's also the last week before KubeCon for many. So I know Abby is traveling, Josh is sick, uh, and so on
Oh,
and so forth. So we're kind of light on basically everything. That's okay. Just give it a couple more minutes, and we'll start with what we have. Is there anyone that's interested in taking notes in the meeting document? Uh, I'm really bad at note taking, even if I'm able to concentrate, and I can't concentrate while also speaking. So, one of the benefits of having ADHD, I'm sorry to say.
if no one else is able, I can do it.
That would be great, thanks. I think I have host privileges, which is probably something I should have, but I've never had the reason to, so I can't stop the recording. So
Is it auto record? It said it was being recorded.
yes, some of these meetings have a tendency of being set to auto record, but the problem then, of course, is that you have several minutes of people just sitting around. So that means someone has to edit it.
Yeah.
Uh, but it is what it is, and not all the meetings necessarily have to be put on YouTube because, for instance, like I said today, we probably have a relatively light agenda. So unless someone put in a lot of things. All right, closing into 5 minutes over. I think we are okay to start. I'm just gonna repost the meeting notes for those who joined, can't see them. Sure, people can see the previous chats when they join. Yeah, welcome to the TAG App Delivery Platforms Working Group meeting. That's a mouthful. I'll be trying to host today, something I usually don't do, like previously mentioned, because of concentration and so on and so forth. I usually just wait until people ask me something and I just spew out something and then hopefully it sticks. Um, so if you are new to this, we do this every second Tuesday. I think that's the right order of things. And we transcripting, okay. And we discuss the various things that the platforms working group are doing. We usually have a round of intros if there's new people who want to say hello. If you don't want to say hello, that's fine too. And you can type something in the chat if you want to. But is there anyone that's new that want to introduce themselves?
Hi, I'm new here. I'm Michel Murabito from Milan, and I'm working a company called Mia Platform. We do stuff about platform engineering, and of course, I'm very interested about the topic. And let me say, I'm here for understand how I can help you if you need help for the stuff. It's my first meeting here for the platform group, and yeah, that's it. Another interesting stuff it's during KubeCon I do a talk with Tag App Delivery during the lightning talk. Yeah, that's it. It's me.
Excellent, thank you. Nice to meet you. Anyone else?
I can go next. Hi everyone. I'm Arsh. I'm based out of India and I work at a company called Octeto and we do developer platforms and developer environments. And as a result of that, I get to talk to a lot of our customers and I work with the marketing team and I write a lot about platform engineering. So I hopped on this call to see what happens here and like if I can contribute in any way.
Excellent. Nice to meet you. Is there anyone else? I don't think there is.
Yeah, Michael Crenshaw. I am an Argo CD maintainer and work at Intuit on our CD team. I actually only recently became aware of Platform Working Group and joined the Slack channel and like awesome conversations were happening there. So I was interested to join up, see what people are talking about.
Yep, I will go as well. My name is Zach. This is first time as well. Also from Intuit and Argo CD rollout maintainer. I've been building platforms for a while now, 15, 20 years, something like that, 15 plus years. So kind of this group has an interest that I'm curious to follow and learn more about what everyone else is doing. So.
Excellent. All right. Well, the first ongoing work that we can talk about, we have someone posted the Tag App Delivery flyer, which is going to be on the stand and so on and so forth during KubeCon. I don't know if anyone has any objections or comments on it, but it's looks pretty good, I would say.
All right, whoever the anonymous hedgehog is that claimed that I was the note taker, but then is taking all the notes. You're funny.
I'm the guilty one. I just thought I'd help with it if I could. So let me know if it's annoying and I'll stop it. I'm just trying to catch things.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm sorry, Robert.
No, it's good. The more note takers, the better, right?
Yep.
Spread the workload. Yeah, it looks good. I don't have any comments on it. It's probably
Yeah.
yeah.
I'd want to add a couple of things. So this one is what I designed based on the one that we used last year in Chicago. So I just took a similar format and updated with the tables from the Tag App Delivery blog. So you see all the items there in terms of talks, whether it's the co-located events or Wednesday or Thursday, it's just updated there. What I am looking forward to is maybe, since we are going to be doing those platform engineering interviews on the booth, and we would be creating the questionnaire for it. So I'm just waiting that, once we agree upon the questionnaire and have the Google form ready, then I can take that, basically take the link, have the QR code and put it on that page. And that's when the flyer is done. Also, in the group that Abby had mentioned that, we take about 100 printouts of these, but then I'm not sure if you would really need 100 of them. Probably maybe 10 copies of it if we can just pick it up on the booths while we are having the booth. And apart from that, we can use the soft copy, with amongst all of us. We can have it on our phones, and if someone wants to see it, or we can use it on the social media as well. So I'm just waiting for the inputs on the questionnaire. I think once that is done, I can have this ready by tomorrow, and we can individually as well as from Tag App Deliveries handles on LinkedIn, Twitter, we can put this out so that everyone's aware that okay, this is the interviews are happening on the booth, and they can come to the address. So yeah, I mean that's what I wanted to share on the flyer bit.
So I put the link to the draft survey form in the agenda, but I wanted to ask about the flyer. The flyer seems to be for Tag App Delivery, not the platform working group. And we're just there for, officially like a couple of hours, even though we'll be there. And it feels like most of since it's platform day, agenda, and things like that, should it be more specific to the platform working group? Because I think is that the app delivery logo, for instance?
Yes,
Or is it, okay.
That is the app delivery
that is
logo.
the app
That's our
delivery
mascot.
logo. So I might
Yeah, go
not
ahead.
have the correct. Yeah, sorry, I might not have the correct answer to this, but even last time, similar thing had happened that the booth was for Tag App Delivery, and we did get a couple of hours on the booth for the platform discussion where we did some lightning talks on the booth. So the whole documentation was Tag App Delivery, even last time as well, where a major portion of it was taken by the platform maturity model that we had released. So there were a couple of pages which was around the maturity model. So I just adapted that, hoping that we would continue the similar thing where we highlight everything that Tag App Delivery is doing, and then we have a page for the platforms, the interview as well as the other platform talks that are happening.
Yeah, and just to kind of these tend to be from a tag perspective, but the thing is that there's usually one or two working groups that are very active at a time. So there are things here that are not related to us, but it might just not be that visible because, again, the platforms working group is a very active group. There's also stuff here from I see from ArgoCon and so on and so forth. So there are other things on here as well that kind of falls under the Tag App Delivery one. And I think that is a nice way to represent this because it's a very much overlapping between the different working groups and projects and so on and so forth. You usually have at least a couple of people that are active in more than one thing, and we kind of, in that sense, come from like a Tag App Delivery perspective on a lot of these things because there's no real reason to have several flyers for the specific working groups or projects unless they're really big projects and working groups, and we don't have that. When it comes to the number, there's surprisingly many people who picks up these things when they go around. So I'm not sure how many we had in Amsterdam. I wasn't in Boston, but in Amsterdam, I think a lot of them got picked up. So I don't think that, remember, there's a lot of people going to KubeCon. I don't think 100 is that many. But at the same time, yeah, probably we can reference to something online. As for the platform engineering interview things, I guess others are better at answering that than me. But a link to the forum would be a great thing. And even though the interviews might be only for a certain amount of time on certain days, if that is highlighted at the end there, that would be great. It's just something people can reference.
Yeah, I don't think we're planning to try and do interviews so much as gather interest in interviews and just offer to chat about platforms, since it's like a specific hour. I'm planning to be there more than just that hour, for instance.
Right.
But I can come up with some wording offline. The other thing that about the flyer is it's not a flyer, it's a pamphlet, right? It's
Yep.
it's a bit long for a flyer, and maybe should it just be a one pager, and figure out how to condense the info on there and reference other stuff like schedules or things like that, rather than trying to print it all out.
It's a fair point. I don't have any opinions either or, but the QR code.
We could split that. I think that there's no harm in doing that. Probably just a pager for the tag app delivery, and then maybe a couple of the scheduled ones, and then the the platform interview that we are planning. We have a dedicated page for that. So while you see here 4 different pages, we can definitely export them as 4 different documents rather than one, and then we can just use it. So by design, we can keep all of them not disconnected from each other, so that it doesn't feel like it's part of a larger document.
Okay.
So I don't have the one from Amsterdam here at the moment, but that was just basically 2 sides. One, it was the information about the tag itself, I think, and the other side was on the platform white paper, because that was new then, and that was basically it. Some of this could be done in such fashion, and maybe the schedules could be something you could print out in a little bit bigger size and then hang it at the booth. So when people go by, they can kind of look at something that's relevant and take a note of where they should be at what times, for instance. And people can take a picture of it if they want to bring it with them.
Yeah.
Just,
So maybe what I'll do is, quickly I'll have a one pager, like you said. One side we can have just the tag introduction, and the other side we talk about the platform interview that we are planning, because in Chicago we already spoke about the maturity model, and we have a dedicated
yes.
a couple of maybe 1 or 2 sides of it last time. So I think I can definitely come up with a single pager with these 2 aspects.
I think that's a good way to split it, because it's usually been just like a general thing, and then there's been that one thing that we kind of promote, because usually the work tends to we try to get stuff done for a KubeCon. The platform maturity model we got done for a KubeCon. The platform white paper we got ready for a KubeCon. So when KubeCon comes around, it's a new thing that people can talk about and discuss, and so I think that makes sense to do it like that. All right.
The one last thing, it seems like it would make sense to advertise the coffees as something other than just the schedules. The rest of that schedule is online. I don't know if the coffees are part of the official schedule too, but since they're a social type thing, it might they might get bigger billing, right, in a specific flyer like this, especially since it runs multiple days.
Yep. So another idea that I had in my head was to create a couple of social posts. So one of the messages I just dropped in the chat, something like, platform or Paris, which basically means platforms in Paris. We could just use that. All of us could share it individually. And the other one with a coffee cup with, around the coffee meetings that we have, along with the date and time. And we can just, again, individually or through the tag, we could use and share it. So these are the 2 other images apart from the flyer that I thought I'll just quickly design and share if you want to use it.
That would be great. Thank you. I'm not sure who's facilitating printing and stuff like that. I haven't been paying too much attention to it.
Same here. I think Abby did mention that someone would probably have to see if they can sponsor getting the printouts. Again, I mean,
Most hotels, like if you ask in the lobby, they are like free to give you like printouts. So even if we like split it between people, like everyone gets 5-6 printouts, we could just do it for free, I think.
Yeah, but what we usually done is getting it printed on like actual print, not just paper print out. So we had it on hard paper and stuff like that. But if I don't think anyone's talked about that before, except hopefully someone will sponsor. But that's KubeCon is not that far off, so someone probably needs to look into that, I'm guessing. I personally could have taken care of it, but I'm not going to KubeCon, so that's doesn't help that everything's in Norway. But yes, so that is something we should follow up.
Who and how, I guess.
Yeah.
Thing.
Who can facilitate and or sponsor and make sure that we actually get it. Follow it up. All right. So we then have the the survey you added kind of as part of that discussion. Is there anything else we want to talk about the research interest survey? Or are we happy with it?
I think it looks pretty good. I hadn't looked at it before now. Sorry if I missed a link somewhere, but
you didn't.
I think it's generally pretty good. Okay, cool. I gave a couple of comments in the chat that you feel free to ignore if you like, but I think it's ready to go. I assume the purpose, by the way, is that what we're really trying to do is source those interviews and get maybe some qualifying information around it. Yeah, I think it's great. Thanks.
Yeah, I agree. Especially like if they read the platform's white paper and the platform engineering maturity model, because we don't really have that much. We have some statistics from like websites and things like that, but at the same time, like who have read these things and what kind of use have it been for people? I would find that very interesting. I know that I reference both of these resources every time I do a presentation on platform engineering. And like I usually ask, and there's not a whole lot of people who have seen it before, but then again, we are a little bit of a niche audience, and even though platform engineering is kind of like a buzzword, like it takes time for stuff like this to, I have 1,000 things I need to read. So
yeah,
so I'm guessing other people also have that. So that would be really cool to see what kind of results we get from that. Yeah, I don't have any comments on that. I think it looks good. I don't see anything that's wrong, or not wrong, but that doesn't fit the theme, or I don't see any. As far as I can tell,
the only question I had was, do we need, since we're collecting names and email addresses, do we have any GDPR stuff we need to do or say or anything like that?
So probably is the answer to that. I'm not sure if there is any resources from the CNCF side that we can reference for these things, but at the same time, we're doing this through Google Docs. We're probably just going to host it on a Google Drive somewhere.
And I think we just need to. We just need maybe a privacy policy to put somewhere. Is it in my very quick reading of it? It's more about what you say you're going to do, as opposed to like the specific hosting of it too.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's usually just some sort of a declaration of this is what we're doing with this data. I think that is worth spending time on before KubeCon, before we start having people go through the survey.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Like I said, CNCF has a lot of things that we can reuse or ask questions or utilize. I just don't know if there is anything in regards to this that's easily available, but it probably is. Other people are doing surveys, so
Yeah.
most
If you,
likely.
well, one thing, if you know anyone else doing a survey, if you could connect us. And Michael, you had a lead on someone who might have some answers about GDPR.
Yeah, when we did the post-platform papers survey where we kind of pulled in all of the things we wanted to learn at the beginning of the kind of product platform as a product work, and we made this like one survey that tried to do all the things. I think somebody affiliated with the CNCF looked at it from like a legal point of view on compliance with GDPR. I need to find that person again. I think Abby's probably the best person to. I don't know.
Well,
Robert,
we
anybody?
could ask, or I could search through some of the CNCF ambassador stuff. There's a lot of things that get posted there that I'm barely able to pay attention to. And again, like just quick search through that channel is probably something that will result in something to point us in the right direction.
I'll take a look. Oh,
Yeah.
and if you can as well, yeah. I'm gonna try to chase down the person who took a cursory look before. But yeah, I mean the big things is obviously we need to be explicit about what we're gonna do to make sure data doesn't get breached, how we're gonna process that data, where we're gonna store that data. We need to be pretty upfront about all those things, especially if we're kind of pulling together our own tools like forms and we're gonna store some stuff in drives, and it can get messy.
It does, and some of the drives that people are hosting some of these documents in are either from the CNCF in some aspects, but some of it is basically just personal Google Drives and other and their company with ones and so on and so forth. So it gets kind of messy. We don't have an official place to have things besides GitHub. But at the same time, we can't really store a bunch of people's emails in Open GitHub because we don't have a host one. So that doesn't make sense either. But as long as we have some sort of like disclaimer that just say we're going to use it in this fashion, we're not going to do anything with it besides asking you about questions about platform engineering teams and so on and so forth. And we just need that wording. I think that's fine enough. Most likely.
I think I'll do a pass of that as kind of the path of least resistance. People can take a look. Maybe somebody
the hedgehog found something too. He's very busy.
Oh yeah, hedgehog is pretty on. All hail the hedgehog. Let's see.
Well, there's a reason why Sonic is a hedgehog.
Super explicit about.
Yeah. Josh Burkus in Slack seems to have some expertise in this area, and he'd previously given this guidance that I put in the notes.
Yeah. So, are you saying that we don't need to go any deeper? Or
I don't really know. It's not my area of expertise, but I mean the only GDPR survey instance I found in Slack, just a really quick search, but like I guess there's Josh Burkus, maybe he's an expert in this. I thought it might jog your memory if it was him. Michael, the second bit was simply that it seemed like a pretty good disclaimer to put at the top. So we should.
I think Burkus came up before. I'll reach out. You know what? I'll take this and I'll add a little bit of the process we think we're gonna go with and where the kind of compliance issues might lie, and I'll send it off to Josh.
Sweet.
And he can help us figure out who else might need to look at it.
I searched for GDPR in the ambassador channel, and there was no results. So it hasn't been discussed before. So
yeah.
It's going.
Josh, sorry. What was the name of the person?
Burkus. I'll add it to the notes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Anonymous Crow, stop typing anonymous hedgehogs.
Crows and hedgehogs, that's right. I don't know why it doesn't know who we are. The only person that knows is Robert.
Yeah, well, you know, it's I have no clue why. I think it's because some sort of rights on the document, probably.
Yeah, you're
I'm no
explicitly added to
expert
the
in that.
doc, I think is why.
Yeah.
So
No, I have no
the
clue.
relate. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just talking.
The related piece to this are kind of interview guidelines. You know, we have people coming to this with varying experience in interviewing. Part of it is just going to be to give people guidance on, you know, interviewing 101 and how to, you know, from start to finish, lead this or participate in it. But the other part of it is what to do with the data you collect. You know, this is where it ties back to our compliance stuff, which is, you know, don't save it on your machine. Like once we figure out where it goes, you know, delete it from your machine. Like let's not have these emails and responses floating all over the place. And so I want to give people guidance on that, so there's some clarity on the process.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Make it easier for people to contribute, you know,
Yeah,
by not having to ask questions. And yeah.
So it could be part of that guideline, like interview stuff, and then, you know, all the way through what you do with the data you collect. And I think the once we have some time, we haven't even really kicked off any of these interviews in earnest yet. So figuring out though, you know, how do we collaborate on synthesis of the data we collect and what we do with that, we can, you know, we have time to figure that out.
Yeah. Excellent. Anything else we need to discuss in terms of the survey form? No. I think it makes sense. So, you know.
Yeah, I think once it's done, maybe I mean, once we all agree on it, you can share the QR code or the confirmed link with me. I'll update it in the design as well.
Yeah. And this survey is also something that we want to share outside of, like, obviously it's going to be a little bit of push for, you know, participants for at KubeCon, but I'm guessing this is not limited to that. It's basically
Yeah, that's
get
why
everyone.
I left out KubeCon specifically, because I think we could put it in Slack channels in different places and gather people that way.
Yeah. Yeah, we can get it out on the Tag App Delivery social medias and get some boosting from CNCF for it as well. Yeah.
Sorry, I just thought of one more thing just about the survey. There are a couple things I can imagine that why people might hesitate is one, you know, they may need permission internally to talk in such a way about so I don't know if we can source that here, or if there's a way to, like, if this is really about gauging interest, it's non-committal, right? Then I can imagine some of the follow-up questions would be, who's going to have access to this information? What permissions might I need to get? And so I'm just wondering if there's a place for general comments, like, do you have any questions or concerns about the process, as a way to at least, you know, understand if anyone is on the fence.
You know, you could add, for instance, for company, not just saying company, but have like a descriptive text saying if you are able to share this information, because I guess that's kind of, maybe that's a thing on
True. Maybe just
introduce it
have
with.
make it. We could make it optional and just have the role title be the required.
Yeah, because at some point you could have experiences from a lot of clients, but you don't necessarily
Oh
want to
yeah.
put it in a
Consultants won't be
company,
on this.
or
Yeah.
yeah, you could, but then it would kind of make sense to get that data in anyway, because if you're a consultant and you're independent. So we could have a, just basically not have that as a mandatory thing, and then have a text underneath saying if you
feel
don't want
comfortable,
to, or if you feel comfortable sharing the company that you work for. You know, again, edge case scenarios. I think most people, you know, if you search for me
Not
on LinkedIn,
even.
you're gonna
I wouldn't say that's edge case. Not for many people. Yeah.
Cool.
You could anonymize the interview itself. There is no name, not maybe the title. You still let the title in the interview, but you remove all the company's, I would say, business information. For example, in my case, I work at the national train company. I will maybe talk about it during the interview, but you can remove it later before getting it public. So if you just
We
leave,
could just assume you work for JR East. That's all.
But yeah, the only thing you need is how my company is organized. If I give it a small summary about it, but if you get something anonymous, there is no longer GRPD issues.
I also think it's if people want to contribute and be into it for this, it's more of a you as a person type thing, not necessarily you as someone who's working at a certain company.
Yeah.
And you might not necessarily talk about what you're currently doing, but you could be talking about platform engineering as a whole, from like working at clients, working at teams before, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's your experience, not necessarily a company
I think
answer
that's
or
a
something like
somewhat
that.
different. That's a somewhat different emphasis on the research that I think we want to be careful about.
Thanks. That's what I wanted to jump in on. It would be interesting to talk to consultants because they, a lot of us do that work and there's a lot of breadth there. But the focus is really to understand what's happening within their teams now as members of those teams and those organizations. And, I think in terms of, one thing to think about is what information can we provide upfront around what happens with their data to make them as comfortable as possible, to be as candid as possible, because they know their name isn't going to circulate with their responses.
Right.
Because, the thing we're trying to avoid is the everything is rosy picture, because somebody might look at this and see my name, and I don't want, critical things floating out in the world. So that's the in terms of like compliance, that's the thing that's practically the most relevant for me, I think for us, for the researchers, making people comfortable and making sure
we have the GDPR issue with collecting them to contact them, right? But otherwise, everything else we can make everything else anonymous.
Yeah.
You need to be able to contact someone for an interview. That kind of makes sense. But
put your GitHub URL in, right?
Yeah. That your personal Facebook profile link, will contact you.
None of us can do cursory research online. We'll never figure it out.
All right. Any more thoughts and comments on that topic before I guess we close because we don't have anything else?
Yeah. Who all is going next week? One more thing I wanted to add. I think we should add we only have like a couple of people in the sign up sheet that Leon put up. But it'd be nice to get a list of, other people who will be there and can also commit to being at the booth for either the hours that we've signed up for or additional, like if they're going to be there for additional time too.
If I only were going, I would have been, at the booth a lot. But unfortunately, I have to be on a tropical island.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
poor thing.
It's actually it's horrible. I have, I'm not able to work. I can do some virtual meetings here and there, but I'm not supposed to. So
Don't do any.
Yeah.
Leave your work phone home. If you don't have a work phone, get one and leave it home.
But one request, because many of us won't be going to KubeCon next week. So send updates, insights, like let us live vicariously through you in the Slack channel. It would be fun. Thanks, because I'm missing out. I got real FOMO.
Yeah, that'd be nice. At
We
least
could probably see if the Wi-Fi is good there on the booth when we are having some discussions. We could see if we can, put up a Google call or something of that sort and see if some of us could join. I mean, we could do that on the booth as well.
Whatever happened to putting an iPad on wheels and having it roam around? That was like a short-lived fad. Could we do that?
There's no GDPR issues with that. No.
Yeah, no, not at all. I think I think a couple of days ago I saw LG having like or was it LG? Someone had a basically monitor on wheels. And it's like a revolutionary thing. Like, yeah, now you can look at recipes while cooking on this huge thing on a tripod. All right, well, cool. Thanks. No, but in all seriousness, if anything, I'll be online. I just might be, in a much better location, sitting there in the sun.
That
so on
doesn't
and so
sound
forth.
like a vacation to me.
Yeah,
Sounds like you're
seriously.
just going to a
Oh,
beach to work.
I haven't had a vacation in forever, so the fact that I'm actually going to take some time off while there is incredible. It's a step in the right direction. It's a progress. It's a work in progress. So,
Just think of the beach as a sandy platform, and that's good enough.
Yeah, I'll promote the white paper and make sure to model and so on and so forth. Anton.
Yes, that was just another topic. I wrote it in the chat because I was wondering what kind of content can we publish on the blog? Because I wanted to publish something a bit more technical, because we had a discussion that it was sometimes too much high level, the things the working group is producing. So I was wondering if I should write something about a solution that has been developed with only CNCF solutions. So if you check my message, a chaining from backstage to Git using Argo CD, using Crossplane, using Cloud Native operator, and the full feedback of the chain, because this is something we are currently implementing. So I think it would be nice to give some kind of technical feedback, some kind of what question did we encounter, why did we want to solve this, where are we stuck, what kind of problem we have. So I had some discussion with Abby about it. So she told me, yes, a blog article could be nice, but is it something for the working group blog? That's the question.
Yes.
So yes, it depends. I think having a blog post on the platforms or the tag website, a technical one, I think that's a good idea in itself, because it tends to be a lot of high level stuff, and some of us likes to actually, talk about technical things as well. I think we need to kind of not necessarily set guidelines, but figure kind of out where stuff should land, because for instance, Open GitOps project has a blog, and that blog hasn't been used for those kind of things, but I kind of want that to happen there as well. And just finding the right way of dealing with that. Also, getting stuff like it's pretty obvious to me, I guess, but probably not everyone. But if you write a blog post from a CNCF perspective, it's you can't try to sell in your company and those kind of things. So that has to be taken into consideration, because we don't. People then would end up putting something out there, talking about what they're doing, and then using that as like a sales thing to say, like, see, the CNCF is endorsing how great we are, stuff like that. So, we need to have some proper guidelines, I think, around that. But if you already talked to Abby about it, I think that is a thing we could try to follow up with the tag in itself, and all the platform's leads and the tag app delivery leads themselves.
Yeah, because in my case, in fact, I have nothing to sell. I'm an CNCF end user, so there is absolutely, it's pure open source feedback, open source contribution. Yes. There is nothing to sell behind this blog. Nothing.
And I agree, but some might be both at the same time. They might be an end user and not necessarily sell stuff, but it's supporting something, and then they can use that to, you know what I mean. Like, just we need a little bit of guidelines there. but in itself, and I think anyone should be able to just post a, send a pull request in with a blog post. We can get that out on any website. I think that is great. I would love for that to happen more often, but I think also since there's no guidelines and stuff like that, we don't also, we don't ask for that type of content either, so we don't get it. But I think that is something we probably should put our finger on and make happen.
No,
I think it makes sense.
Maybe it's different than what I'm thinking of. I put a link to the community post guidelines we published at the end of December, or sometime in December, I think it was. That is probably a good thing for anyone who's looking to contribute to read. And I think some of the points you just touched on, Robert, is are in there.
Yeah, and I think it yeah.
The only other thing I'll say is that the overall goal is to have a fairly low bar. So like this shouldn't be too salesy. Like this is a general interest open source group. Just keep that in mind. That's part of the audience. So for instance, it's also okay to cross post. Like if you're going to post this blog on your own company's blog, that's fine. You may need to edit it slightly for a slightly different audience in this case, if it's too focused on your own specific solution. So that's the sort of general guidance that I remember from working on the guidelines.
Yeah.
What I will do, I will create a small pull request with just basic plan, and we'll be able to discuss about it within the pull request.
That sounds great.
Yeah, in worst case
Also
scenario,
happy to
you
be a
write a
set of
blog post
eyes.
that you can have somewhere else if you want to.
Happy to be a set of eyes if you need some independent perspective too.
All right, with that, is there anything else?
I would say, I think it's a great question, by the way, Antoine, and I think we should be encouraging and getting more of this content published. Like the world needs more of this, and so anything we can do is good. So thank you for trying to get it going.
All right, good. Last call.
See you at KubeCon. Regarding the coffee, I will welcome you on Tuesday. I will come early so that we have no issues with French talks, discussion with the hostel. So I'll be there early.
Are we running an actual lean coffee, or is it just a coffee?
A real coffee. Just a chat place to talk around the coffee, a sponsored coffee.
Okay.
So we have sponsors for each day. So it will be a free coffee if you're coming. So you have the details. I posted the link. I'm going to post again. Up. Full details.
Sorry, is it too late to sign up?
No, you just show up.
No,
right.
It's not late. You can vote on the Framapad within the issue. So
Thank
I
you.
have 16 people confirmed, and I booked for 20. So we still have some rooms. And if there are more people, they can come. It will just not be sponsored. They will have to pay their own coffee at the bar. It's an hostel, so it's okay. It's okay for extra people.
The poll makes it look like we're like trying to pick a particular day, but I might understand like it's happening every day regardless. Each of these. Okay.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. 3 days, not the Friday. Maybe Friday, a few people, but it's not sponsored by anyone. So I only booked 3 days.
If it was doable for me to jump in a canoe and get up to Paris, I would. But enjoy your coffee and enjoy KubeCon. Sure, it's gonna be great, even without me. All right. Well, then we have about 11 minutes to get back to you. And thank you all for the discussions, and I'll see you next time. All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye all.